Hello and welcome to Press TV's Top 5. The Syrian President Bashar al-Assad says the transitional government in his country should include independent forces, the opposition, and forces loyal to the government. Assad says the formation of the new government can be resolved in the Geneva talks. He made the remarks in an interview with Russia's RIA news agency. Assad also said that the government and the opposition are formulating the basic principles based on a UN document for further negotiations. The Syrian president also rejected the idea of federalizing his country, stressing that the majority of Syrian Kurds want to live in a united Syria. Assad says that the conflict has cost the country more than $200 billion and restoring their infrastructure will take a long time. Eric Draitser is founder of stopimperialism.com, joining us from New York. Eric Draitser, before we get going here, let's set the stage and talk about the ceasefire. Unbelievably 3 weeks old, roughly. Some minor, violations, but overall holding. Isn't that a sign that the parties actually want to have this crisis settled?
On the one hand, I think it is a sign of that. On the other hand, I think it's also a sign that the belligerents in the war, particularly from the opposition side, know that their strategic position is very weak. You see the Saudi-backed opposition, many of these terrorist forces, the rebels, and all of the rest of these various groups, all of them have lost a tremendous amount of strategic territory and position on the battlefield. And I think because of that, that is really what is driving them to, for the most part, observe the terms of the ceasefire. From the Syrian government's perspective, of course, the battle against the Islamic State and al-Nusra Front continues, as we've seen in recent days, particularly, of course, the symbolically and strategically important retaking of Palmyra, and also the important corridor that links some of these various towns and cities. So I think that the calculus on the ground is really what's driving the observance of this ceasefire, but also there is probably a sense of battle fatigue here. A lot of these forces have been fighting for more than 5 years now and have been depleted in terms of their resources and depleted in terms of their morale. And so a number of factors, I think a confluence of factors here, is really driving the observance of the ceasefire.
So when it comes to the peace talks, then I'm guessing that the Syrian governments and their representatives obviously are talking from a position of strength. So why is it that, again, yesterday the Saudi-backed opposition has come out saying, well, Assad has got to go? Do they even have a basis to make that type of a request at this point?
Well, from a pure power politics and negotiation perspective, they don't. But this is, I think, less a demand that is founded on substantive issues and more it is a negotiating tactic. If you want $1,000, you start by asking for $2,000 and then you work your way down from there. They're going to start by demanding that Assad must go. Then they'll negotiate backwards from that position, because there will be so much option. As you noted, I think quite correctly in your question there, they are coming to the table from a position of weakness. Therefore, they're not able to dictate terms in this negotiation. I think that's a very significant reversal from what the United States and its proxies in the region and their proxies on the battlefield are used to. And so this negotiation process is actually going to be one that I think is much more between two equal parties rather than the United States and its allies being able to dictate the terms.
All right, we're going to leave it there. Thank you. Eric Draitser, founder of stopimperialism.com.